Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this one is, like you probably noticed, Sonicake's Trio Rider pedal, which is basically a clone. Well, copy of clone, and not just one clones, but three different clones. The silver, it's kind of the OG, I think. Then the G is the gold one. And then red is the red one, which is, I believe, the designer of the clone made several years after, you know, he quit making the actual clones. And, well, like you heard, the Plexi, you know, it's a 100 watt, 1959 handwear Plexi. You know, it's modded, but now I've set it up like a standard Plexi, so Jose mod not included. Nothing else. The master volume is there just to keep it, you know, moderate, not insanely loud. But this is kind of your basic Plexi tone, which you get from unmodded Plexi. I mean, if I would crank the master, there would be more low and more everything. But I don't need. Almost forgot the signal chain. So the guitar is my Gibson Les Paul from 1989 with slashed Alnico 2 pickups, the old ones. The amp is the Plexi. Cabinet is a Mesa Boogie oversized from 94 with V30s, mic with SM57 Royer 121. The Royer is just blended in like -9 or so dB lower. That's it. Because I have the Trio Rider, which is effing amazing. Like, damn. Okay, like you heard, check out. So clone differs a little bit from your standard. I guess you can see barely the max on there, but let me show when I engage the Maxon. So typical tube screamer, cuts lows, adds mids, changes the tone. I love tube screamer, but if you want to have an overdrive that just is like your amp, but just adds more, then a clone is or in this case Trio Rider, I think it's the answer. And what is great now, when I had the Plexi set to such a low gain, great clean sound, but just lowering the volume of the guitar a little bit. Okay, let's check out the other modes. Let's keep the settings as they are, you see them. So let's go from silver to gold, and let's listen. What's the difference? Tiny bit more low end, maybe a little smoother top. Very minor differences, like on the actual clones, I guess. I've never played with a real clone, just the clones of Klon. Okay, and then the red. Okay, I think there's kind of more low end. It doesn't add, but it doesn't cut as much. So clones, like most overdrives, they always cut a little bit, because if they wouldn't cut when you add more gain to the amp just becomes flabby, so just kind of compensate the added gain. But I think the silver is kind of the tightest and most aggressive. Then the gold one was a little bit fuller, and the red one is the fullest. Okay, let's tweak the gain and tone now. Start with the red one. Insane amount of gain. The tone knob is quite subtle, like usually in overdrives. So it's just because this is pre-gain stage, so it's just, you know, you control how bright or dark signal you hit the amp with. Okay, then let's move to the golden. I feel like it adds maybe a tiny bit more top. Not as much gain as the red one. Okay, silver. Yeah, there's nice bite. Check out the gain. Yeah, the red one adds a bit more gain than the silver and gold ones. Kind of my favorite. Let's check out the volume. Now the gain is maxed. Now it's just a clean boost. Was great. And then let's start to bring in the clipping. It's kind of like on a real clone that I feel that it doesn't really do much or anything before 10 or 11 o'clock noonish. Yeah, so basically it's just the, you know, clean boost, more clean boost, and then I feel it starts to add clipping somewhere around the noon. There, the sound changes like. Lot of gain. Okay, let's do the settings I kind of like the most. The level around 2-3 o'clock, and then a little bit of. Okay, let's check it out with a Strat. Strat the trio rider off. Neck pickup. Yeah, what a great pedal. I think the price is like 45 bucks or so. So it's like the clone I mentioned, what I have is like 5 times more expensive almost. And this is equally as good, if not better. And it has 3 clones. Conclusion. Again, another really good pedal from Sonicake. I had a lot of their pedals. I have the Rude Mouse, which is a rat, the Blue Screamer, which is a kind of tube screamer, all kinds of different pedals from them. So thank you, Sonicake, for sending me this to check out. And I think it's gonna leave, if not on the board, then at least, because I put it in the place on my flanger, but it's gonna live here because I have now SD1 Maxon 8808 and the Klon. You know, small size, it's a metal construction, it's a buffered bypass, which I like. In my case, it doesn't matter because I have all the pedals in this kind of G-Lab, you know, loop. But for live purpose, I always like buffered pedals because then you kind of preserve your signal. Some people really like true bypasses, which, you know, they're fine, great. And then, you know, the circuit is not included, but I like bus pedals a lot. They are buffered. So, you know, live situation, long cables, it preserves your signal, especially if you're using like non-active passive pickups. But what a great pedal. Yes, I welcome it with open arms to my studio's arsenal. And look here, man, the Plexi just woke up, become alive. Hey, thanks for watching. Please check out the link to Sonicake's website for more information about this fantastic clone labeled as Trio Rider. Alright, rock and roll. Until next time, take care. Bye.